Welcome back. Today I wanted to do the end of year tarot tag. If I can find the original creator, I will put them in the description box below. I've seen several people do this video. It's really cool to see all the people's different responses and all the different decks that people have. Sorry, that was my cats. To see all the different decks that people have and what they've been working with this year and what they think about how their tarot practice has evolved or changed throughout the year. So I wanted to participate. The first question is, what deck did you use the most this year? And for me, the deck that I used the most this year was the Runic Tarot. And I'll kind of dive into more as to why later with one of the other questions, but this deck I used almost exclusively for, I think, the first 5 or 6 months that I was more heavily diving into my practice. But I'll kind of flip through a few of these. The artwork in here is beautiful. I really enjoy it. It's been a great deck. The illustrations, like I said, they're beautiful. And I love how they all have runes or bind runes on them. And it was a great deck for me to really just start to pick up my practice a lot more intensely than what it was previously. My practice has really just blossomed this year, and it has been in part because of this deck. And so yeah. And this right here is probably my favorite Three of Swords, like, ever. I love this Three of Swords. My only complaint is this baby right here in this deck. I cannot, like, given how the people and their faces in this deck, and then this baby looks like such a fake baby. But yeah, I love this one. But the artwork, like I said, it's incredible. It's lucky. But yeah, this was my most used deck this year. And I really enjoyed it. I have put it away for now. I say put it away, but really it's just on my bookshelf. I can easily access it. I'm just not primarily using this one at the moment. Place to put that. So a deck, the next question is a deck that I didn't use at all this year, and that one would be the Tarot of the Divine. And you know, I think I honestly am just a little intimidated by this deck, and I'm not sure why. I'm thinking maybe it's just because it's so brightly colored, but I mean, it's a beautiful deck. I have not felt like I have wanted to use it. And I think what I would really like to do is try to use this in decks that are more bright like this in appropriate times of the year for me. So for me, that would be spring and summer. So that would be anywhere, you know, I live in the northern hemisphere, so that's going to be, you know, maybe April through July or August or something like that. And I think maybe if I try to incorporate it in that manner, I might find it a little bit more easy to work with. But like overall, it's just it's not a deck that's like something that I really want to lean towards and grab. But I also don't want to get rid of it because I love, like, yes, inspired by deities, folklore, and fairy tales. Like that is my jam. It's just odd for me with how brightly colored it is. And I think I did a deck interview with this, and I think in that deck interview, like, it was calling me out on the fact that I haven't used it. I'd have to go back and look in my little book that I use for all of my readings. But I think that will probably, me trying to use this during the summer months, spring and summer months for me would probably be the easiest way for me to try to incorporate this deck into my practice. Oh, I love that hermit. I really like that hermit. That's beautiful. And like, I think I've only pulled this deck out like a handful of times since I got it. And I actually got it secondhand from a used bookstore, like a book and game store. But it's beautiful, and this card is probably the whole reason that I wanted it, and it's also the card on the front of the box. But yeah. So I think I might actually write that in my tarot journal and say, like, hey, like, we need to use this deck in the spring and summer months and try to rate it a little bit more, or decide if I'm going to pass it along and try and rehome it. Yeah, and it comes, the box is really nice that it comes in. Third question in this: what is the most recent addition? And for me, that is the Forest Spirit imprint. I backed this on Kickstarter several months ago, and it arrived. I don't even think it was a week ago. It came about maybe a little bit less than that. I'm not sure, but it's a beautiful deck. The guidebook is it's cute, but there's not like a ton in it. I thought it was gonna be like really thick, but it's actually just another language. But it is kind of cool because in the descriptions it actually has like your first like main or two like words, and then it has like a secret, and then it says image, keywords, and upright and reversed. So I thought the secret aspect of it was actually really cool. But this is beautiful. I think there is a question in here, and I can't remember what my answer to it was. I don't know that I actually wrote it down. I think there was a question that said your favorite deck back. And I would have to say this one is probably my favorite. This is beautiful. The only other one, actually, I'm getting off on a tangent, but I'm gonna set this deck over here so that I remember that that's why I have it. Okay. Anyway, this is my most recent addition. Look at that. I hope that shows on camera because that's beautiful. And when I saw that, because I didn't know that was going to come on the deck, and I saw that and I like squealed. It was beautiful. But I love this deck. It gives me like kind of like a mix between like a Studio Ghibli and like Zelda vibe, and it's beautiful. Like, it just makes my heart sing. I love this deck. The colors in it are beautiful. The illustration, all of it. Whoop. And it is slick. Let me tell you, this thing glides like freaking melted butter. And so to me, it's extremely well made, especially given the price, because I don't think it was super expensive, because some of those Kickstarter decks are really expensive. But this one was well worth it, and I don't even think it was more than like, I don't think it was more than like $40, like USA money. And so this one was absolutely well worth it, because I think that's like my biggest fear with Kickstarter, because I love the decks, but I think sometimes I'm a little wary as to backing things, because you don't really know exactly what the end product is going to be like. And so it makes me a little hesitant. And I love this freaking hermit. Look, it's a unicorn. I didn't notice that earlier. Or I say earlier, but the last time that I had this deck out, I didn't realize that. That's really cool. But yeah. See, I'm telling you, they're slick. But this one is super easy to read with. It's like just a warm hug anytime I've used it. It's just like, so this one is just so gentle and sweet with its message that it's trying to relay. All right, so the next one, the next question is, what deck do you have that's not in your usual style? Oh, okay, yeah, I see it now. So that one is actually my Spirit Song. My Spirit Song Tarot, and I actually really love this deck. It's extremely beautiful. I got this one secondhand as well, so I don't have the box with it. But it's got a great guidebook. These are the backs for it, and this is just, it's not my usual like style at all. This is very, very light. The artwork is, again, beautiful. I love the artwork, but it's just not something that I would usually lean to. I often lean towards more dark, like dark deck, dark energies. It's always been the way I lean. Light and fluffy usually isn't my thing. But this one speaks to me a lot, and I love all the animals in this. And it's really funny because my son actually loves this deck as well. So there's 2 decks that I have that have like a bunch of animals in them, and he loves to pull them out and us go through them and look at them. This one is one, and then I have, I think it's called the Spirit of the Animals Oracle deck, and it's kind of a similar vibe. It's very light, it's pretty, and he loves that deck too, because obviously because they have animals in it. And so we'll go through and name all the animals, and so it's super sweet. And I love, this is probably my favorite thing about this deck, is it has a bat in it. And I think this is the only deck that I have seen thus far that has bats in it. And like, bats are one of my favorite creatures, and I was so excited when I got this, and I was actually going through the cards and I saw that it had a bat in it. I was stoked. And I love that it has a couple little keywords down here and the element that it represents. Is that? Wait. Yes, I think that's what that is. The element. I will say I haven't done a ton of readings with this deck. I think like I was saying with the other Tarot the Divine, I think I need to try to incorporate using certain decks at certain times of the year to help me like use more of my decks that are things that I typically wouldn't go for, but I really enjoy. And so I think that that's probably something I want to try to do. This actually will lead into the next question. The next question is, what's your favorite deck accessory? And my favorite deck accessory is the little tarot bags that I have made. I've only made 2 so far, so I've made this one, and then I have made this green one here that I keep my crow tarot in. I did not have, again, I didn't have, this came in a bag, like a cheap little tarot bag, but I did not like it, and so I actually made this one for this deck here. And yeah, so this is probably my favorite thing that I've done so far. Actually, I made it a little bit big, so it's got like a little bit too much room. I probably should have made it like this size for this deck, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I have a deck that I had so many cards in it, and I was actually able to make an extra little oracle deck out of it. And so that's when I am carrying it around and it's not in the box that it usually comes in, I keep it in this and it actually fits, but those cards are much bigger than these. And so yeah, those are probably my favorite little tarot accessories that I have had. My favorite deck pairing, and that would be, it's kind of a tie between these two, which would make sense because they're by the same person, is the same creator, or it would be the Tarot Volatile and probably the Dante's Inferno. But I just got those the very like middle of December. Like I just got those, so I haven't had time to really play with that pairing a lot yet. But these two read wonderfully together. I absolutely love both of these decks, and for a little while I was using these like constantly. Let's see if I can do this. They obviously, the artwork is all very, very similar, and they just go together incredibly. They're beautiful together. And this oracle is actually another one of those, it's got multiple animals in it, and so my son likes to look at this one as well with me. I have done some readings with both of these together. Adding in tarot and oracle and doing like a paired reading is something that's pretty new to me, but I have found the readings to be they have so much more depth to them when I add in the oracle, and that has been very interesting to kind of develop and learn over the last few months. Because it's, you know, I really just kind of started diving more deeply into my practice this year. And so adding in oracle, kind of like already I was a little bit apprehensive about it, but I feel like it has, the challenge of that has actually made me be able to read better. And so I foresee myself doing that a lot more moving forward. Huh. That's pretty. One of my favorite cards right here is that death. That death is beautiful. But yeah, that was the Ethereal Visions and Dreamscape Oracle by Matt Hughes. So I think one of the questions that I actually missed was your favorite deck back. And I honestly, it's kind of a tie between the Forest Spirit imprint and then the Rackham Tarot. This one, the backs on these are absolutely stunning. And it's this lady. This is a card. This is the Four of Swords in the deck, but it's just like this half up. And it's a different color tone, but I love that they took this, they cooled it down and changed the colors, and then they also mirrored it. I have one of the extra cards, and one of the extra cards in the deck. There was this one and one other one, I think, that just kind of gives you like a basics on like how to read tarot, but the back on it was not like this, it was like this. And so I actually use that extra card as a bookmark all the time in my planner because I love it so much. But yeah, these are hands down probably my favorite backs, but the artwork in here is beautiful as well. I should probably put a penny or a quarter in a jar every time I say that, but I'm such an art nerd. I love artwork. And this has like an old-timey kind of vibe to it, and artwork that's done like this is always, it always just intrigues me so much. But yeah, in that world, I love that world. All right, and so then the next one is a deck with a great theme. And for me, a deck with a great theme is the Van Gogh Tarot. I have loved Van Gogh since, I would say, so I took an art class. I took a couple art classes in college, and then I also took like actual, like I took a painting class, I took a drawing class, but I also took, I think 2 art history classes. It was like your entry level one, and then I think the next level up. And in the first class, we went over like all like artwork from like cave drawing, like it was really old artwork, and then moved up the timeline into modern day, which was really cool. But in that, I found Van Gogh, and I have been just like obsessed since. It has always been like this painting. I love this painting. And I actually have a painting of it. It's actually in my room. I did like a, I'm quite the nerd. I love Doctor Who as well. And if you are a fan of the show, you know that Van Gogh is in one of the episodes. And what I did is I actually painted this, but I also painted the TARDIS in it. It's actually hanging up in my room. I was trying to see, because I used to have it down here like in my living room, but I think I moved it upstairs, and it's over my bed. But anyway, this is one of my favorites. I absolutely love the theme of this deck. It fits me. And see, you got the sunflowers, like it's everything. And I think one of my favorite cards is in here as well. But the colors in this, the brassiness of it, the blues, like all of this is just, it's absolutely up my alley. And I love this little deck. It's a perfect theme for me. I should have been doing this earlier. This is much quicker. But just as an overall theme, out of all my decks that I have, I think this one is probably my favorite. I think the artwork in it is done really well. The only other one that I would say would be another favorite would be the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot, but I just don't think the artwork in that one is as thoroughly done as this is. And don't get me wrong, I really love my Edgar Allan Poe one, but this one is just, it's just top tier for me. So, yeah. The next one, the next question here is a deck that I'm in love with. So right now, currently, that's going to be a toss-up between the Tarot Volatile and then the Tarot Persephone's Garden. I love this deck. It is beautiful. But I have not used it a whole lot yet, because not long after I got this one, the Tarot Volatile came in, and that just kind of like set that has just taken over my life right now, because I have waited months for that to come in. But this deck, all these paintings of these women is just beautiful, and there are some men in here, but it's primarily women, and it's just stunning. And I really think I want to more thoroughly work with this deck this coming year. I can't believe I split that down the middle exactly. That was awesome. So the next question is a deck you wish existed. And right now, I think I would really, really love an arcane deck. I am absolutely on the bandwagon with this. So my husband, he's played this game for years with his buddies. When it first came out, I watched the first couple episodes. Like, he would watch this in the evenings, and then I would be like, sitting on the couch with him and reading or doing whatever. As the show went on, and I was kind of picking up what was going on with it, I really started watching it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It is a beautiful show, and I would love to see someone make a deck out of that show. In like the game, it is just incredible. It's just one of those things that I really just want to dive head first in, but I know I'll get so lost that I haven't. But I think that's probably the one that I most wish existed right now, because if it did, I would go out and buy it like right now. Like, I would get my keys and walk out the door and go buy it. Let's see. The next question is pick a card that you like. Okay. Oh God, this is hard. Pick a card that you like. Pick a card that you like. Okay, so I would have to say that it would either be let me see if I can find it in here. There she is. Okay. So I'd have to say it would be this High Priestess. I hope you can see that. Or it would be the High Priestess that's here in my Tarot Volatile. I have to pull this big honker out here. And I don't remember which one I have in which set, so I don't think I have posted the video for this yet. It will be coming out, but the thing with this deck is there are so many extra cards that there was literally 2 cards for every major arcana, and then there were a couple extra like little additional like yes no kind of cards. And so I made like a little oracle type of or like a trump deck type thing out of the extra cards that I have. And so I would say it would either be the High Priestess from the Van Gogh Tarot, or it would be this High Priestess here, or the Temperance card from this deck. Both of these are just incredibly beautiful. And I honestly, I don't know that I could pick. I would have to say I would pick, my favorite card would be out of these two. Because these are just stunning. And actually, I think she's on the box. Let me see if I can pull it out here. Whoop. Yeah, she's on the outside of the box here. Okay. Actually, I think I need to... I'll probably need this out again here in a minute. But anyway, so the next question is reflect on your tarot practice. So this year, like I was saying earlier, my practice like exploded because what I had decided to do, because I was having a hard time. I had been trying to read tarot for like a couple of years now, right? But it wasn't like dedicated. Like I was learning a little bit by little bit, but I was also like, I was at a point where I was getting frustrated because I felt like I was not learning fast enough and I didn't really know how to do that. And so then I started watching some videos on how people learned to read more quickly and effectively. And so what I did was, one of the main things was start a daily practice. Start drawing a card every single day and you write out that meaning. Whether that is the meaning that you're interpreting from the card or, you know, however you want to do it. And what I did was I wrote out the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the card. And then I would go into the guidebook and I would write down the keywords from the guidebook. And I did that every single day. And I did that here with the Runic Tarot. And I think I started in February. I did this and I used this deck every day, I think, until September. I think September I started like adding in other decks. And that has tremendously helped my interpretation. Like I can get, other than just laying out cards and then having to pull out the guidebook and then try to figure out what the reading is, I can kind of get like a sense of what the reading is trying to say to me once I've got all my cards out. And then I go and I'll go ahead and write like that down. And then I'll go into the guidebook and start really kind of trying to get more of the meat out of the reading. And so the daily practice and using one dedicated deck for that tremendously helped me this year. And I am so glad that I did that because I feel like very accomplished with that. Obviously, I still have you know, the sky's the limit with this, but I am so very like excited and proud of myself for how far I came in my practice this year. Like I said, this is the one that's what I was kind of trying to get at earlier with this, but I didn't want to, but I knew this question was coming up. So, but anyway, I really loved this deck, and I feel like that's something that I want to continue to do, is to have like I'm using this deck for this specific purpose, which is kind of what I'm doing this year. With the Tarot Volatile. This year, I am going to be using this in the group that I am in with Dawn Michelle. And I'm really excited to do that with this. It's not the Trump deck here, but it is what I will be using primarily for her guided, that's the word I'm looking for. I am in her guided practice for this year, and this is the deck that I'm going to be using for that guided practice this year. And then I also picked out, where did it go? Dante's Inferno to go with it as the additional oracle card. But this deck is just phenomenal, and I'm so glad it made it here in time for me to start using this when that practice started. So the last question on here is pull a card for the new year, and I have already done this. I have set up a journal that's separate from my regular tarot journals. And what I did, let me see if I can find the card that it was. And let me tell you, like, these cards are gigantic. I mean, it's as wide as my hand. So just so people know, I love this borderless edition, but it is freaking gigantic. I cannot shuffle these cards like I would like normal cards. I'm trying to find the card here. Yes, it was Temperance. Okay, so the card that I pulled this year as the overarching card this year was Temperance here. And so those are the two Temperances for this deck. I can actually pull that over here and show you. So I made the guided practice that we are doing, or that I am doing with Dawn Michelle and a bunch of other people. So I don't want to like spoil any of her stuff in here. But I made a gigantic index for this, and let me flip through to the right page here. Okay, so here we go. So this was my year ahead spread that I did. This is the cards that I got. This stuff up here at the top is something that Dawn and Lisa created, and it's to do with dice, which is really cool, and I have found that to be extremely helpful in my readings as well. So if you want to know more about that, absolutely go and check out that video from Dawn's channel. But the main theme of this year for me is going to be Temperance. And I'm really excited. I've had a lot of things in my life already start to change this year, and change for good. And I'm excited to see where this year is going to go. I feel like, yeah, let me see what I said again. I feel like this year is going to be a lot of healing. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I said I really feel like Temperance is just going to be my guiding theme for this year. And it's going to be a year of active healing and progress that I have been working towards for a long time. And so I'm very excited for that. And I feel like this year is just going to bring a lot of good. Because the last couple years, they haven't been like, they haven't been like extremely, extremely difficult, but they have been stressful. And I'm moving into a place where I feel like I'm going to be able to heal from a lot of that this year. And I'm so ready for it. I'm excited and I'm ready for it. And I can't wait to see where the rest of this year goes. So yeah, I think that was all the questions in this. So I am going to hop off here and clean up this mess. I am like completely surrounded by tarot decks. Tarot and oracle decks. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 decks that I can see. And I'm surrounded. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.